think we're live here. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I wanted to do a quick live because we are getting to the end of the quarter. And because we're at the end of the quarter, that means we should probably check in on our goals. Last Monday, was it last Monday? Yeah, last Monday, the Purpose Driven Mom Club, I went through and kind of taught my new process for like a big goal check in that I do recommend you do once a month. And I'm going to give you some of the steps here so that you can get them together for the end of this quarter. All right. I'm also going to put this on the podcast. So this will be coming out in March, right at the end of the quarter. So it is perfect for you. And this is going to be episode 451. So if you're watching later, show notes are at purposedrivenmom.com. So podcast 451. If you're live in our Facebook group, hi. It's so good to see you. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a live video here once a week. Just some tips. Feel free to comment. I'll post some extra things for you. Whatever you need, let me know. Let's talk about it. Why do we need to check in on our goals? One of the things I realized last year was that I was making all of these goals and I wasn't checking in on them consistently. I would have these goals, I would track them each week, but then all of a sudden we'd get to the next month and I'd forget the yearly goals. Like I'd sort of glance at them, they sort of existed, but I just never actually did anything with them. And what I realized was missing in my entire plan, and it was pointed out to me by one of the club members, was like, I'm just missing this piece. Was this. It was the yearly check-in. How do we check in with our goals that we set, the ones that we add? Sometimes I'll make a goal in January that I don't want to work on till May, or in February a goal gets added and then it doesn't get added to my big chart. Like, how do we keep it all concise and ready to go? Okay, so here are the steps. The first thing I recommend, and again, this is every single month, but especially now that we're getting to the end of the quarter, you're going to want to make sure you do this every for the quarter at least, right? Is I want you to look back at any vision or mission statements that you might have written for the year. Now, I keep mine in Trello, and then I also keep them on a workbook that we use for the club because we'll do planning once a month. And I want you to reread them. One of the club members when we did this, she had a suggestion of like printing it out, and I loved that. So I have since printed it out, my family vision and my work vision. My family vision is on my fridge so that I can see it every single day, and my work vision is taped here to my desk so that when I sit down to work, I'm reminded of that. Now, why do we do this piece? If we're not looking back at the things we said we wanted to do, if we're always just looking forward at the next goal and the next goal, we're not going to be very anchored in that vision. I really recommend at least once a month, the quarter, or daily, you're reading this mission statement. You're looking at it, you're checking it out, you're saying, okay, is this something I want to do? What did I say I wanted to do? What did I want it to look like? Who is the person I wanted to be? Once you get there, you really can start to filter through some goals to say, hey, is this goal going to move me towards being the person I want to be? Or is this goal going to keep me, or is not looking at this keeping me stuck? By looking at your vision statement, you also are going to get excited about the goal again, and your brain is going to just open up the possibilities. It's that concept of the white car, right? Like, I wanted a white SUV. I've decided I'm buying it. So now everywhere I go, do you know what I see? It's a white SUV, right? And I think it's so important that you are doing this for your brain. You're opening your brain up. You're saying, this is where I want to go. This is where I want things to be. And the more that I read it, and I'm not too woo, I'm not, into too much like manifesting, like all that kind of stuff, but I do believe in the power of this. I believe that if you say it out loud and you start reading it every single day, you can become this person. So by going back and saying, this is the mission, this is my vision statement for the year, and just reading it, you're reawakening your brain to your goals. If you've not written one for the year, today's a great day to do it. It doesn't have to be long. Mine is literally 4 sentences. Actually, let me see if I can pull mine up really quick because I'm on the computer and I can read it to you just to give you kind of an example of my personal mission statement. And again, it's not super succinct. It's not the best-selling novel. It was just, this is what I wrote at the end of 2024 of how I wanted my personal and my family to feel. Ready? So mine is 2024 has showed me how much our family thrives with time together. I want us to continue that into the new year. While we might not be able to do our complete year of RVing, so time out, we were talking about getting a trailer and just hitting the road for the whole year. We're not doing that. I still want to make sure that we are planning time outside, hikes, camping trips, and we are having more time unplugged. It is important to get back to date nights with my husband, and I want to make sure that we are making a concerted effort to get off our phones and connected more as a family. I want this to be the year that we also get our family's finances in better order, more in savings, paying off debt, and investing. 40, I turned 40, by the way, this year. 40 was a good year for me, and I am I'm ready to continue growing in confidence. I want to work to get another life coach certification to keep growing myself, get back to therapy, get back to church. I want to take my health in my own hands, and I want to have more time off my phone and pick up my books and my crafts. So see how it's nothing revolutionary. It's nothing super life-changing, but reading that inspires me to be like, right, as I pick up my phone, right, as my kids are like, let's play another game, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it, right? It's that reminder of, no, no, no. When you dreamed of your year, these are the things you said you wanted to do. These are the places, the person you wanted to be. Okay, so write yourself a mission statement, reread it, keep it forefront. The second thing you're gonna do is, if you have a vision board, is to just give it a glance. The vision board is your pulse check. It's your feeling. It's, this is how I said I wanted to feel when the year started. Do I still feel that way? Am I still excited about these things? This is another one I recommend you print out. So I teach a concept of how to make them on Canva, where you go through and you can add things to it. Go ahead and make yours on Canva. Go get some magazines, print them out, right? And I want you to look at it. Have it as the the phone screen, the wallpaper. Put it on your computer. Put it where you can see it. The more your brain can get on board with the vision that you set, the more attainable your goals become. So those are two very fast things you can do to just check in and say, how is the year going? Now, the next piece is looking back at my year plan. So I have a secondary doc. Let me pull this one up too. And I just call it check-ins. So I just want to grab that for myself. Yep. All right. So my goal check-ins. And I'm going to walk you through what's kind of on my doc. I've set it up for the entire year. Oh, this is the blank template one. If you're in the Facebook group, what I'm going to do, and I'll put this in the show notes at the podcast, at purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 451. I made a Q1 goal check-in for the club. I'm just going to share it with you. So this way, all you have to do is hit file, make a copy, and you can see this template that I'm talking about, and you can feel free to do your own at the same time, okay? So I'll put all of those there for you. All right, hold on. My thing is alerting me that I need to close some tabs. It says you have too many tabs open. Story of my life, friend. Okay, we've closed tabs. Hopefully we're good. So here's what's on my goal year plan checking list. It has each of the areas and the categories I have goals in, from health to finance, spirituality, personal, home, relationships, growth, and family. It does not have my work stuff on here. I do that separately. And under each one, I have a section where I can put what the goal is and a little vision sentence. So not a full statement, but maybe just like a sentence of, what do I want? Why do I want this? What do I want it to feel? All right. Then underneath it, I have January, February, and March, and what I've been doing every single month. So again, you could just do this for the quarter, but I've been doing this every single month, is I just go in and I give an anecdotal, how's it going? So one of my goals this year was to make more things that are homemade. And so I checked in January. Hold on, let me pull up. I have the template pulled up, but I want to pull up my my personal one. Here we go. All right. So my health, I had a goal of just cleaning up our family's nutrition. So the vision for this was, I want to cook more. I want to expose the kids to more foods. I want to have dinner together, and I want to use less processed ingredients. That's what I really want, right? I want our nutrition to be better. So my Q1 goal was that we focused on dinner. There's a bunch of things I could focus on with lunches and breakfast, but I was like, I just want to think about like the dinner meals. So I wrote on this sheet, it's got my January plan, which my January plan for this was that I was going to like make one, I call it like a casserole, but like a casserole dish every single week from scratch type of thing. One scratch meal that we reheat. We made a January family goal of everyone has a fruit or a vegetable at every meal. Our February goal was that I eliminated buying foods with like red dyes. Now listen, Valentine's Day happened. My kid had a pixie stick. Like, it happened, but looked at the things I was buying on the regular, the stuff from the grocery store, and I made a very concerted effort of, no, I'm not going to buy those things. So we did pretty good on that. And then my March one is working on the evening. So my kids will eat dinner and then stop 5 minutes later and then say, I want dessert. And I'm like, no, you need to like learn about eating times, and like it's okay to be hungry for like a smidge. So now we're working on after dinner. They have to wait 90 minutes. That's all we're working on right now. So and we eat dinner early. So if we're done by like 5:30, at 7 they can have their snack. They don't need to go right to the kitchen. So just we're working on those types of things. So anyway, so I have the plan here. I also have on here for this example of the foods. So one of my other goals was replacing one of my foods with a homemade option per week. So every month when I checked in, I wrote down. So do you want to hear my list? I'll just share with you. So in January, I made chocolate chip cookies, ice cream and chocolate syrup, bread, and Chick-fil-A sauce. And those are no longer things I am purchasing, she says arrogantly. In February, I made waffles, pickles, pizza crust, and bagels. I will no longer be buying those things except for the pickles. I cannot find a recipe my kids will eat. I like the pickles that I made. My kids were a little pickier, so we'll see how that goes. March, my plan is banana bread, which I made last night. I'm going to write that down. Muffins, brownies, and I need one more. Oh, ranch dressing. I forgot. So those are the things. We just ran out of ranch dressing. So I'm like, I'm just going to learn how to make it. And so I'm just kind of making this plan. So what's great about this is that because I do it monthly, all I have to do is kind of go over to this list, check in, make a little note of how it's going, and remind myself like what's going on and what I'm doing there. Okay. Now, the last piece of this is then tracking my goals. It's going in and tracking my goals. And I use Trello. I like to go in and make sure everything is marked off for the quarter. I said I wanted to save a certain amount of money. I said I wanted to make X amount of homemade dishes. I said I wanted to complete this project. Have I tracked these things? Have I checked in? I then take those lists from Trello and I kind of scooch them on down. I move them on over and I put them next to the next month. This way, my year goals are top of mind. It's really easy for us to just keep making goals and not looking back at where we said we wanted to be. So, what I want to encourage you to do today in this quick tip episode is do a little check in. It's almost the end of the quarter. Go back, look at your vision for the year, check out any vision boards. Write a little anecdotal like how your goal's doing and track any goals that you have completed. And then ask yourself the question, where do I want the next few weeks to go? Now, I'm doing this live at the beginning of March in our Facebook group. This will air at the end of March on the podcast. We kind of have about like a 3 to 4 week lag that we use. So no matter when you're listening to this, I want you to do this process and say, hey, beginning of March people, my Facebook group people, right? I've got the whole month. Are there still goals on here that I want to work on? Are there still things that I'm like, I want to step into being this person? Are there things I can do to show up this way? My end of March, my friends from the future, again, show notes at purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 451, where I'll put a copy of this checklist as well. You have a week left. Which of those things do you want to do? And then as you're planning quarter two, because I'm hoping you're starting to think about quarter two now, as you're planning quarter two, which of these things do you still want to take into the next quarter? Which of these things are there for you? I want you to do this check-in right now before the month goes another day and just ask yourself, how have things been going and where do I want to go from here? Oh yeah, Lisa says I want to start making more stuff from home. Spaghetti sauce. That's a good one. I haven't done spaghetti sauce. I'm going to do pizza sauce next because last time we made our pizza dough, I just used jar sauce. So my next step is to make it. And I have another episode coming out about the 1% more, but like that's the thing I'm realizing. We make everything so big. And if we just said to ourselves, like, what's one thing? Like, what is one thing that I could move forward on? We would get light years ahead of our goals instead of trying to do all of it all the time. But I do think it starts with something like this. These are my notes. But I think it starts with this. What we're doing and talking about right now is this big goal check-in, right? Where will it go, right? Like, where do you want things to go? Where do you want the year to go? Again, if you're in the Facebook group, once I'm done here, I'm going to take that list that I had given to club members last week. Just hit file, make a copy. We'll tag you or pin it or something so it'll be in our free Facebook group. If you're not in our group, you're watching on YouTube or in the future on the podcast, come over, search Purpose Driven Mom Community. We've got a free group, a couple thousand mamas just doing our best and chatting about our time management, our goals, and motherhood. And if you're at the podcast, the show notes will be there and you can grab them as well. Thank you again. Again, like I said, in the Facebook group, I'm trying to do one live a week, and I have a couple other posts that are kind of going up so we can talk and connect more. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. My internet said it was like funky at some point when I was talking, so hopefully you got the whole thing. If not, let me know and I can give you a tip. Otherwise, have a great day, and thanks for hanging out so much.